Hello, Kelly. So great.
Hi, how are you?
Good to meet you in real life person.
Yeah,
I think we're
good to meet
getting,
you too. In semi-real life, yeah.
I think we're getting Dr. Nelson connected here, and then we'll jump in a few minutes. I can.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Can you hear
Can
me
you see me
okay?
okay?
Everything good on your end? Okay,
Do you
perfect.
see our snow?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't want to wear anything springy because I felt
Real.
like that would be rubbing salt in a wound. My
She
worst
messed up.
sweater for you guys. I'd be
That's
digging
awesome.
back deep in my closet for it.
I just don't see her. Okay.
I see a lot of people have joined us already, which is very exciting. See Eliza. See a lot of names I recognize down there.
Her hair is on fire.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Just did it specifically. For all the people that are here early, I'm gonna give you a real behind the scenes at what the bottom looks like, which is Snoopy pajamas and then fire hair. And you're all ready to talk about incontinence. That's all you need.
Yay!
Yes. I was like, I can't be doing the doctor thing too.
I'm trying to figure out how to get myself into the live.
No, it's good. I'm like, I can do the intros, the whole doctoring. We'd be steering people the wrong direction.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna just give a couple more minutes for everyone to join us. I think we said 7 o'clock,
Okay.
so we got to see Kelly's jammy pants. So I feel like that was a full jealous moment that.
Hey, I'm at the hospital. I'm on call, and labor and delivery literally texted me like 20 minutes ago. Hey, one of your patients is coming in. I'm like, you guys got to give me half an hour to do this Instagram.
Hold the baby in. We have incontinence to talk about.
This is very, very exciting. Can you take us in the delivery room, or is that like major HIPAA violation?
Can we ditch the incontinence and go straight to the warm magic feeling?
Follow me.
Honestly, it's probably a good lesson for her to learn.
I give her all the news in one go.
Mother, maybe for the first time. Right.
No. Yeah. So I'm here. I'm on call. I figured I would just stay at the hospital and hang out until after this. So it works.
I love it. If you start running away, we'll know.
Right. If I have to peace out real quick, it's just because they're
we got babies. We love the babies.
Should be good. So yeah.
Awesome. Are we still having people join?
I close out of my other computer stuff.
Should we get this started? All right, Kelly's already jammy pants, and I want my jammy pants on too. So, welcome to everybody out there. This is our first edition of Glad You Asked. So, really cool series that we're kicking off, kind of diving into some of our women's health areas and talking about the things that we just don't always want to talk about in public. So I'm super excited to be here with both Dr. Marie Nelson. She's one of our fabulous OBGYNs here at Lakewood. She happens to be my OBGYN too. So nice to see you with clothes on tonight. Usually that's different. And then Kelly Bandas. Kelly's really helping us elevate our conversation around women's health, bringing just a fun and inspirational light to the things that many of us women kind of navigate on the daily, right? And sometimes we navigate in silence. So I think coming together, connecting on all the realities of the stuff that we have and just kind of breaking down some barriers. So super glad to have you with us tonight. Kelly, you've been really helping us kind of elevate some of our social media posts around some women's health issues. So a little lighthearted approach, getting us uncomfortable and laughing, which is two great things to be. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what interests you in helping collaborate with Lakewood, and why you're tossing yourself out there with us?
Well, first of all, I love that you're talking about me elevating your social media, and I'm making posts for you guys about wetting your pants. Just feels nice and light and refreshing to me. I call myself a stay-at-home comedian. I write for the web, I write books, I write screenplays from the comfort of my own home. I don't do any live performing, but I was really attracted to the Lakewood health system because I think it's so important to be in charge of the conversation about your own health, especially with these topics that can be really embarrassing and you don't want to talk to your doctor about. And I think when you add humor to stuff like that, you just kind of neutralize it and you make it approachable for everybody. And so when I was approached with this idea, I was really excited to jump on board because I think one way to have really great autonomy as a woman is to take back our own health and not be scared to have conversations.
Yes, and we appreciate you helping us not be scared. So Dr. Nelson helped me not be scared too.
Great.
So tell us a little bit why you joined Lakewood Health System. You're fairly new to us. You're one of our more recent OBGYNs. We're so grateful to have you. But a little bit of what got you into this area of practice and joining Lakewood and about kind of why you want to help with the conversation tonight.
Yeah, awesome. So my name's Marie Nelson. I actually grew up in the Brainerd area and then have practiced at a couple other facilities in the area before Lakewood. I joined Lakewood last summer, and part of the reason I joined Lakewood is because I really appreciated the fantastic team approach in women's health, where we have not just a great group of doctors and providers, we have really amazing nurses and support staff and extra support of the people that go the extra mile. And I really think that Lakewood puts women's health first all the time. And I really, really like that about the facility. And that was part of what drew me to joining the practice here, is not just the reputation, but really everybody really puts the patient first. It's not about the bottom line always, and it's not about, who's on call or anything like that. It's really about what's best for the patient. And I really appreciate that approach from Lakewood, and I really try to bring that to my own practice. So
no, that's amazing. I think that's why all of us are at Lakewood. The amazing feeling we get to be a part of this team bigger than each one of us individually. So that's awesome. So one of the first, should we jump right in and talk about one of the first videos that we had both of you revolve around? So the question is it normal to pee when I sneeze, cough, or laugh? Question.
I hope so.
That, Kelly, come on. Kind of what I said in my response before is that it's not normal, but it's very common. And it's certainly something that there's a lot of different options for treatment for leaking. And sometimes we have to kind of tease that out of what kind of leaking it is, or if it's not just when you cough, laugh, or sneeze, but you're leaking out of the blue, or leaking when you pull in the driveway and can't get to the bathroom in time. These are not normal, but way more common than most people like to think. And I would say probably 90% of the patients that come to my office for these kinds of concerns have been leaking for a long time and just put off and put off and put off again, calling for an appointment before they finally get here. So
for sure. And Kelly, you've got a couple of kids, right? So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes. I think one of the things that's so tricky about this women's health, this particular issue, is the first thing you do is you go to your girlfriends, right? And they come back and they're like, oh, I do that too. I do that too. And so you just sort of think that okay, I get this. This is normal. This is what life is. And we don't bridge that gap to talk to like an actual provider about it until it's been months and months. And I have gone through trampoline birthday parties that I had to like make a little exit from, and all these different things that I could have avoided had I just talked to a professional and not like,
right?
my
That mommy group
text
is
thread.
helpful for, play group and good times outside, but not so much when you're leaving your pee in your pants.
100%. I saw someone just asked a question, but it went by really fast. I didn't see something about having coffee first thing in the morning.
That would be my husband. So no, babe. I don't
contributes?
leak after you bring me coffee first thing in the morning. But the coffee does help me get up and get going. So ignore him.
Yeah. If he logs in, you can ignore him.
I know, it's like, it's yes, but I do want coffee tomorrow morning, just a heads up in case we don't get there. Yes, so like when is it doctor worthy? So I think I've always struggled with this, right? Because we kind of suck it up. And we go through like, well, that birthday party was uncomfortable, but like I thankfully don't have to do that for another few months. Like when is it a point where it's like, oh, I should just probably approach my doctor about it?
So I usually like to think of a lot of things in women's health as a quality of life issue. So if you're afraid to leave the house or can't leave the house without packing a bag with extra clothes, or you're starting to go to the store and always feel like you have to know where the bathroom is the first thing you walk in the store, and it starts to become something you're planning ahead for, then it's affecting your life. And as soon as it's affecting that quality of life, then it's probably worth a conversation.
I agree. I think that's a great mantra that you've helped me navigate, right? The when is it normal? When is it not? Right. How's it impacting daily life? And when is it impacting life in the sense of like, you don't just need to like go through that every month or every day or every couple months, that there's options to have a conversation. So let's talk a little bit about like, you can certainly help on some of the women's health issues. We do have some extra resources here at Lakewood in urology, our family practice providers. So can you talk a little bit about like who and how you should navigate or start this conversation? What provider level, how do you get to the right people?
So certainly for women, if you already have a primary care doctor, they can be your first point of reference. And a lot of our primary docs here at Lakewood are really great about at least getting some evaluation started and maybe even starting a medication if they feel like it's appropriate, just to kind of get the ball rolling. But my understanding is that we don't need to have a referral to see somebody in women's health. So any of us are happy to see people without a referral, just with a phone call to say, hey, I'd like to talk to someone and have a consult about incontinence or leaking. And any of the women's health providers can do that, even outside of primary care, because I know a lot of our primary care docs are booked a few weeks out, and sometimes we can even get you in sooner than that, to start that ball rolling.
Absolutely. I think a really cool part at Lakewood is the connectedness of teams and the working together, right? So we have over 20 family practice providers that can help with women's health issues. We have our great 4 OBGYNs, and then other specialists on team to get connected and help. Have I missed any other questions coming through? I feel like we have a great number of participants other than my husband.
Yeah. Well, I have a question. So a lot of the times, while you might be waiting for a PCP or a doctor that you...
Is it frozen?
My Instagram, you've been on here enough today, alarm. So I swiped that away. One of the things I know I do is I go online and I Google, or I'm on Instagram, and there are any number of people that are telling me about pelvic floor exercises I can try at home, or like just buy this little thing and it will fix all your problems. I'm curious, like, what are some of the things that people come in to tell you that have tried and do not work, and like these are the great myths of incontinence that we need to be aware of?
I think that people starting to do some pelvic floor exercises at home regardless of your age, and even if you're not leaking already, is fantastic, because strengthening that pelvic floor can help long-term with prevention of incontinence. It can help with prevention of pelvic organ prolapse. It can help with actual sexual satisfaction and reduces your discomfort during intercourse. So I think doing some of those Kegel exercises or pelvic floor exercises at home is a great idea. We certainly have options for referral for formal pelvic floor physical therapy, or therapists that are specifically certified in pelvic floor therapy that are phenomenal in our area. But I certainly think that starting some of that at home can be really beneficial. And then, as you mentioned, that Dr. Google can be helpful, especially because, kind of circling back to the coffee in the morning, there are certain things that irritate the bladder that you could simply change your diet or change a little bit about your lifestyle that may reduce the amount of leaking that you have even before you can get into the doctor. So things like coffee, chocolate, citrus, spicy foods, alcohol, those are all things that irritate the bladder and that all of us really love, right?
Taking all of our fun away right now.
So those are two things that you can kind of start doing even before you come in for your appointment.
That's fantastic. Other than I'd rather pee my pants than give up my coffee. So that's okay.
Same.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions in the chat boxes here? Can you fire them off?
I can keep firing off questions if we don't have any more. So personally, one of the things that I struggle with is peeing when I exercise. I'm a big runner. And it's not this is great. I feel like I should pay you after this. But while I'm running, I'm totally fine. And then when I stop running, I pee.
So a lot of that is a mechanical issue, and it's that stress incontinence. So with childbearing, sometimes even with age, and even just carrying a pregnancy, even if you didn't have a normal vaginal delivery, sometimes you can get this hypermobility of the urethra. So while you're running, that pelvic floor is contracted, and then as soon as you stop, it relaxes, and then you start leaking. So that mechanical issue, the valve isn't working like it's supposed to. So starting to do some of those pelvic floor exercises may be helpful, but it may not fix your running problem right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes we also then, start to talk about different things that we can do mechanically to help fix it. So one of the options that I offer some of our younger patients is a device called a pessary. And it's a silicone device that's kind of circular. We have several different shapes and sizes, but the one for incontinence is like a ring with a little knob on it. And it kind of goes in like a diaphragm, but it sits in that vaginal area and kind of puts a little bit of compression on the urethra from the vagina. And what that does is then kind of acts as its false stop valve, or this little device is kind of preventing that bladder from leaking. And a lot of my younger patients will use it just when they're exercising or just when they go for their run. And then they take it out and don't wear it the rest of the day, or they wear it kind of on an as needed basis just for, the times that they feel like they're going to leak a lot.
Oh, that's really good information that the internet did not
And then the last
me.
thing is, there are some times where surgery is warranted, where we can put in a bladder sling. And I think there's a little bit of a misnomer on what a bladder sling is. It's actually just a really thin mesh that goes underneath that urethra and kind of supports it, either in a V shape or in a U shape that kind of sits underneath the urethral opening and acts as that valve. So a lot of patients that end up having a sling put in, or the mesh sling surgery, after surgery, they don't leak at all ever again, which is phenomenal, but it takes time to get up the nerve to get there.
So I love this question from P. Barons. It asks, what can you expect when you go to pelvic floor therapists? Because that sounds super scary.
It does sound super scary. So luckily in our area, we have some really, really great, both female physical therapists and female pelvic floor therapists, who are physical therapists who've actually done additional certification. Usually they do really specific evaluation of the pelvic floor muscles, but that also includes evaluation of core and the back and the buttock region. And oftentimes they'll do even examination of the vaginal area. So that's why I like to specify that they're certified and they're female, because that can be really nerve-wracking for a lot of people going in for a physical therapy appointment where they may or may not have to get undressed or have some evaluation in that vaginal area. But they do a lot of specific evaluation to kind of see what muscles need to be strengthened. They'll do a full intake of what patients are experiencing and what their strength is in their core or in their back, or just a kind of general functioning, what their goals for therapy are, and those kinds of things. And then they kind of set a treatment regimen for the patient. Sometimes it's just doing exercises, but some pelvic floor therapists will actually do some nerve stimulation where they really kind of help to reactivate some of those pelvic floor muscles and give people that strength back.
And how do they do that?
Stimulate. So the nerve stimulator can go on the outside of the buttock region or on the belly. And I'm not a pelvic floor therapist, so I can't tell you exactly how they do that. But sometimes it does go internally, where they kind of teach you how to relax and contract specific muscles. It's pretty thorough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe,
sounds like it could be fun.
A lot of
Maybe?
people that really get on board with it and are committed really do have some improvement, whether it's for prolapse or incontinence or things like that.
So that might be the key, right? Leaning in, getting committed
Just,
to navigating some of those.
Just like picking up and calling for the first time. I always think that's the hardest part, is getting your butt to my office.
This is true. That's awesome. Well, thank you for your question. I think we have another question too on, like, when do you actually empty your bladder? Do you know what I mean? Like, should we have regular habits? Because I literally just ran before we started this.
Right. So it's, if you're someone that starts to experience leaking or spontaneous leakage of urine, or you have some overflow incontinence where you just don't have the control, one of the first things that I recommend is actually retraining your bladder. So sometimes what's happened is that the brain and the bladder have created a disconnect where the brain isn't always telling the bladder to pee when it's supposed to pee, and the bladder's not always telling the brain when it's overfull. And so oftentimes we'll start with time voiding. So initially, for people that are having really bad incontinence or overflow incontinence, I'll have them start voiding during the daytime every hour. And then we try and slowly push it to every hour and 15 minutes. And then every hour and a half. And during that extra little bit of time, you're starting to do some contracting and relaxing of the pelvic floor to try to hold that muscle in, or hold the urine in, and get that muscle a little bit stronger. And it kind of helps retrain the brain to communicate better. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Is there a point, like when I've been on a long road trip and I finally get somewhere, oh God, we can go to the bathroom. And I go to the bathroom, and then in 5 minutes, I have to go again. Should we be sitting and waiting for like a second pee to get everything
out? And it may be that your bladder has gotten over distended on those long car trips, where it may at its capacity and got a little overstretched and then didn't empty completely. So it may be that you should go to the bathroom and then spend 5 or 10 minutes walking around that gas station or the souvenir shop and back and try again, so that 5 minutes down the road you don't have to pee again. But sometimes wait too long, then you'll get that overflow sensation.
My husband will be very happy that we have a solution to this.
Not to stop at the next station 5 minutes down.
Yeah, he does not.
That's when I get the side of the road. That's when it's attached.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he brings me coffee. Awesome. Any other questions from the audience? Feel free to pony them up. I think we're going to be getting together and chatting about once a month. So keep kind of pulsed on our Instagram and social pages. Lakewood will be tossing out the upcoming topics that we'll be able to tap into some of our experts, tap into Kelly to help us bring humor to some of these subjects that we're avoiding talking about. So just a reminder, at Lakewood, you can establish care with any of our women's health providers. Again, for OBGYNs, they're all fantastic. And over 20 family practice providers, a bunch of specialists that can help you connect those concerns that you've been having. As Dr. Nelson said, making the phone call is the hardest part. So I encourage you to jump in and take that step. You can call our scheduling numbers at 218-894-1515. So super thrilled to have both of you connect tonight. Happy to be having this conversation together. Unless they fire me, I might be back to the next round next month. Fingers for me. But if there's no other questions live, I think that we can stay tuned until next month. And I'm assuming that we're going to get some more Thursday teasers. I know, Kelly, you're on board to be, yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm very excited about
the secret to me.
Topic,
be excited too.
Yes. Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, I'm itching to get started.
Your videos
so
are
it's a little teaser for you all. Oh, thank you. Thanks. They're so fun to make. Like, I don't show them to my kids, who are usually my test audience. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are enjoying them.
Awesome.
That's great. And thank you, Dr. Nelson, for taking your time. I know you have a baby kind of on the way upstairs. So we'll also like doctor tonight. But so great to connect. And we'll see everybody in like a month.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Sounds great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.